Good evening, this is your AI host, Jay. I'm here with the automatically generated Journato evening headlines on March 11, 2022. Former MI6 spy says Vladimir Putin has overreached and made gross miscalculations in Ukraine. Like a horror movie, 19-year-old shares Ukraine escape on TikTok. The Guardian, a Ukrainian photographer is using TikTok to turn war zone destruction into art. CNN, teenager from war-stricken Ukraine documents her plight on TikTok video. Gabriel Boric, 36, to usher in new era for Chile as he takes presidential oath. The Guardian, Chileans pin hopes for change on youthful president. Financial Times, President Gabriel Boric's new home signals change in Chile. Reuters, Chile's new president Gabriel Boric wants to lead green revolution. Bloomberg, in Chile's edgy Barrio Yungay, a progressive president moves in. Russia widens attack with airstrikes on western Ukraine cities. The Guardian, Ukraine-Russia S. Putin offers hints at shift in negotiations. Zelensky says country at strategic turning point in war. Cities devastated by heavy bombardment. Sky News, Russia-Ukraine war, key things to know about the conflict. The Independent, Ukraine's Zelensky calls Russia terrorist state over aid shelling as forces close in on Kyiv. The Guardian, Ukraine war, cities of Dnipro and Lusk hit for first time as Zelensky says Russia is a terrorist state. COVID-19, China orders lockdown in city of 9 million people after spike in cases. Sky News, China struggling to rein in biggest COVID outbreak since Wuhan. Financial Times, coronavirus, China locks down city of 9 million amid new spike in cases. Wales Online, China fights new COVID-19 spike with more selective approach. The Independent, China's 2 sessions meeting ends with worst coronavirus outbreak in years. Russia warned of dramatic increased response from West if chemical weapons used in Ukraine. The Independent, Ukraine war, Boris Johnson tells Sky News he fears Vladimir Putin may use chemical weapons as it is straight out of Russia's playbook. Sky News, UK minister warns Russia against using chemical weapons in Ukraine. The Guardian, Inside Politics, Putin troops attack 2 new areas. The Independent, chemical weapons attack by Russia in Ukraine could force NATO to act, warns minister. Devastated, gender equality hopes on hold as anti-feminist voted South Korea's president. The Guardian, as the world watches Ukraine, another hotspot is brewing in the Korean peninsula. The Telegraph, Yoon Suk-yeol, will South Korea's Donald Trump worsen tensions with North Korea? The Independent, analysis, Korea's president-elect harnessed voter discontent. Now comes the hard part. Reuters.com, South Koreans elect Yoon Suk-yeol, hardliner who backs strikes on Kim. Ukraine war, large Russian convoy redeploys near Kyiv, satellite images. BBC, Russian convoy outside Kyiv breaks up as more Ukrainian cities targeted. ITV News, Russian convoy near Kyiv has dispersed and artillery is in firing position, new satellite images show. The Independent, massive Russian convoy splits up and fans out into towns and forest, satellite photos show. The Telegraph, new images offer clues to what happened to Russian convoy. Russia to block Instagram after Meta relaxes stance on Putin hate speech. The Guardian, Ukraine war, posts calling for violence against Putin and Russian soldiers to be temporarily allowed on Facebook. Sky News, Russian space agency boss compares Zuckerberg and Dorsey to Nazis after Facebook and Instagram policy change. The Independent, Facebook and Instagram let users call for death to Russian soldiers over Ukraine. The Guardian, Russia asks court to label Facebook, Instagram as extremist. Ukraine claims Russia has bombed psychiatric hospital with 330 people inside. The Independent, Ukraine-Russia lunchtime briefing, 5 developments as psychiatric hospital bombed. The Telegraph, Russia-Ukraine live updates as psychiatric hospital bombed with 330 inside and 48 schools destroyed in city. Manchester Evening News, psychiatric hospital near Kharkiv hit in brutal attack, says Ukraine. The Times, psychiatric hospital hit by Russian forces in eastern Ukraine. Ukraine war, Russia to use thousands of Middle East volunteers in fight in Donbas region. Sky News, Putin approves Russian use of Middle East fighters against Ukraine. The Guardian, Putin says Russia to use Middle East volunteer fighters. Reuters. Putin welcomes foreign volunteers, most from Middle East, to reinforce troops in Ukraine. The Washington Post. Putin says Russia to send fighters from Middle East to Ukraine. This was all for the news. Thanks for listening. Please do not forget to like and subscribe.